Perfection will kill your business because you don't need it. You can never be perfect at the start of a journey. It will only ever come later. And it could be weeks, months, or years later before a company gets its minimum viable product right. Hey, welcome to this short video. My name is Lawrence. Today we're talking about how to win in life and business with a simple hack. What I'm referring to is execution. It's all about execution in business and life in general. So if you were to span those across the two verticals, business and life, right? Like, how do you operate in your personal life? What does that look like? Do you think about that? And how do you operate in your business? Do you think about that? Do you write it down? What's the structure of it? What does it look like? When are things going to be done? You know, what are the key goals, right? So in business and in life, there's two things that you should do. You should always have some sort of target, because if you've got nothing to hit, you don't know where you're going. Then it becomes random. And I think most people do miss that. So today's video was about how to sort of form some framework around that. So to win in life and business with a simple hack is about execution. Even understand what execution means. It's activity that moves you forward attached to a goal or an outcome, or a result is what you could call it. So a couple of things around that. So the first thing is iteration. So I think when you're in business and you're trying to deliver or develop or do some advertising or create a product, like, how often do you start something and when you get to the end of it months later, it's completely different from when you started? The only way that happens is with iteration. Right? It's like, for example, building a website. We build numerous amounts of websites in our company because every year we're trying to refresh the technology and build the back end. So we do a lot of website development. So what we're doing is we're building one website to build the next one better. We're building the second website to build the next one better. And it just keeps continuing. So we're constantly iterating. Right? So we're constantly executing an iteration, which are small chunks, to get to a result, which is really a long way away. If you're getting a product market fit or looking for minimum viable product or minimum remarkable product, normally that takes a duration and it takes a lot of time. So I would say to my managers, here's what you need to do. You just need to do one thing, and that's the first thing. Don't worry about the second thing, the third thing, the fourth thing. Don't worry about next week or the week after or the next month. Just do one thing. Because if you don't do one thing, you won't do anything. Like, that neurosis that holds people locked down and prevents them from getting started on something is simply that. They never get started because they're too busy trying to find perfection. I have the saying in the company, right? Perfection will kill your business because you don't need it. Like, look at the iPhone, right? Or Android, or whatever device that you have. You know that little reminder that you get before you go to bed, and it says, oh, hey, you know, we want to update your phone later tonight at midnight or something, and you just click yes. Do you know what it's saying to you? The iPhone is fucked up. It's not 100%. So what they do is they get it to a minimum viable product, MVP, or minimum remarkable product. That's normally what I like to call it. And what they do is they release it to the market and they sell it. Everyone does it. Amazon did it. Microsoft did it. Apple did it. They all did it. Google do it. Like, their search engines were terrible back in the day. Like, and I don't know if you remember Windows, if you're like 103 years old like me, but it was pretty shitty. So it doesn't need to be perfect. And that neurotic behavior, trying to seek that, is really based on ego. Like, how big is your ego? It doesn't need to be great. Just do one thing. And it might be write a list. Second thing is prioritize that list. Third thing is reprioritize the list. Fourth thing is start the first thing. Second thing, start the second thing. And when you stack all of that action, right? Iteration, 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 iteration. What happens is your knowledge gets wider, the project gets bigger, and you start to move towards a minimum viable product, right? Or product market fit, or whatever you're trying to achieve. And that's how you do it. So to win in life, to win in life and in business with a simple hack, the hack is iteration to execution. Iteration to execution. Small chunks, executed well, gives you the result. In most businesses, they don't know how to do that. I think there's a lot of tech businesses coming into the market. I know in Silicon Valley, they're very focused on iteration because it's a software development coding mindset, right? There's a bit of a culture wrapped around coding and tech companies where they do iteration after iteration. They'll code something 100 times before they get it right. They'll launch a product 100 times before they get it right. I think people who Maggie, who's really good at baking pies, she goes and buys a pie shop with infrastructure around it and opens up a business and remortgages her home, for $250,000 or whatever it may be. She hasn't thought about, I need to sort of get to a point where if I'm going to launch something, I need to write a list and run through a whole bunch of iterations before I get it right. She'll just go on selling pies. So, don't just sell the pie. Just think about everything that has to come first before that. So you've got to iterate to get to the end. That's what the whole video is about, iteration and execution, a really viable way to approach everything in life, personal life and professional life, in business, big companies, small companies, and startup. It's certainly a really important way to view it, right? So it's more about a culture and a lens. It's not so much a formula. It's just a lens on how you see it, right? So if you want to achieve something, slow it down. I know people who worry about things in the future that haven't happened yet. Happens all the time. Causes stress, anxiety, they start worrying about things. But they're worried about something that may never happen because you don't know how to get to step 3 unless you do step 1 and step 2 first, right? And step 1 might change what step 2 looks like and in what direction you take it. And step 3 might be in a complete different direction than what you originally thought. So that's what iteration is. Anyway, look, I hope this video helped. Really appreciate your time. Look, if you like the content, subscribe, share, and like. And until next time, thanks for watching.